Hey, how's it going? So I wanted to share a little bit with you about the DISC assessment. And in my world, I've layered it with programming that I call Self-Assess 101, which is technically my delivery of the DISC assessment. And I wanted to step you through my latest DISC assessment results from when I took it back in February, and like what the report that generates from um, you completing the questionnaire, and that we will go over in your one-on-one 30-minute consultation what that report looks like and the value that it adds for you and what you can expect um, to leverage from it and learn about yourself, all in the space of becoming more self-aware. So if you looked at my Self-Assess 101 page, one of the things that it's noted that's included with your Self-Assess 101 purchase is a 30-minute one-on-one consultation in addition to a 22-page report. So this is the 22-page report. This is the front page. And you see this is my report dated February 12th. So I've taken the DISC assessment 2 times. I took it, I believe it was May 26th of 2019. It was definitely last May. And I took it again this past February the 12th. And so what I'll do is I'll unclip this and step you through a couple of pages that's just so you can see like what you can expect. So the meat and potatoes of the DISC assessment is this page right here, where you have the energy bars to show you how you measure according to the 4 personality types that align with the DISC assessment. So let me break this down for you for a second. According to the DISC assessment, the 4 different personality traits are the D, which is like the dominant personality, I, the influencer, S, like the stabilizer, and C, like the controller or the calculator. And so when I go over your assessment with you, what I will use is an analogy that is taught in the extreme execution coaching program that I went through in order to become qualified and certified to administer the DISC assessment. And it's like the layer, the overlay is the analogy to the team that is required for a flight to happen successfully. So stay with me for a minute. So there are 4 main roles in a flight plan that we're talking about. There's the pilot, there's the flight attendant, there's the grounds crew, and then you have the air traffic controller, right? So let me bring this energy bar chart back up. So our D would be the pilot. They care about where we are and getting to the end game, getting to our destination. Their eye is on the prize. They care about knowing what matters to get us from A to B, point A to point B. They are leaders. They are personality styles that like to be at the helm, and they like facts. They like to get straight to the point, like no fluff, no filter. Then you have your I. That's our flight attendant. These are the people, when you board the plane, they are shaking hands and kissing babies. They are like the schmoozers, the people pleasers. They care about others. They care about people. They make the flight personable. You know, they take care of you. They take care of people, you know, that are on the flight at your service. Then you have the grounds crew. That's your S. The stabilizers. So these are the people that are behind the scenes. Sometimes you see them when the plane is taxiing, when the plane is parked at the gate. They're the ones that are putting your bags on the plane. They're the ones that are gassing the plane up. They're the ones that you see directing the plane in with those hand motions with the cones. They are the ones that are processing your bags underground somewhere so that they show up for you when you get off of the plane. And so that they come around for you on the turnstile. The grounds crew are the fingers in the holes to keep the proverbial ship from sinking. They are the ones actually doing the work. They are the ones behind the scenes. They are the ones that are bringing the vision and the dream to fruition. And these are the ones who flourish by doing. They don't need a whole bunch of pomp and circumstance. They want to know what the objective is, what my role is in it, and what do I need to do to be able to do it well. And then the fourth personality type is the air traffic controller. These are the ones that are operating at a higher altitude than everybody else. They are data driven. They are the ones in the pilot's ears saying when it's safe to land, if it's not safe to land, if the plane needs to circle for 15 minutes, if the plane needs to circle for a whole another hour. They are the ones that are crossing T's and dotting I's. They are the ones that can slow down an operation with good intent. But these are the ones that are very critical, very analytical, data-driven, love analysis. These are our air traffic controllers. Now, when you think about the four different roles in a flight that I just described, our pilot, our flight attendant, our grounds crew, and our air traffic controller, they all are important roles. They all are important roles. But how do we know who's who? A good way to know is leveraging this assessment. When you take the flight analogy away, when you come back and say, well, who are the drivers in my space, in my world? Who are the influencers? You know, who are those that bring stability that I can count on and depend on to bring things to life? Who do I call on? You know, that will dive right in head first and do it for me. And who do I know that will give me a fact-based opinion that is founded in data, you know, and they are hyper analytical, and I could trust their advice because they are slow to speak, quick to listen, but when they speak, I'm confident that, you know, they are speaking not based on bias, but based in fact. Who are those people? And let's put another spin on it. Where do you fall in those particular categories? So here's the thing. Like I said, these are my results from my most recent spin at it taken in February. And so it's not that we are one of one personality type and that's it, or we have one type of attribute and that's it. We don't fall in any of the other buckets. That's not true. This assessment is based on the understanding that we all carry traits that fall across all four of these personality styles. But what it boils down to is, what is your personality preference? And how aware are you of how you're showing up in the world when you are most comfortable and in your most natural state? And how aware are you of how you're showing up in the world when you have to adapt? And so let's talk about natural versus adaptive states. So I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert's introvert. There are times when I will consider myself an ambivert because I feel like I can do both. I can, you know, be a tad bit outgoing if I feel like I need to, if that's the environment that I'm in. But a lot of times it is such a big energy suck for me to have to exert myself and initiate conversation, because that is not who I naturally am. That's not my natural preference. My natural preference is to be in the corner by myself, probably head down in my phone or just people watching, and I'm okay with that. Like I'm not the type of person that needs to hear myself, you know, speak or make small talk. Small talk sucks the life out of me. But meaningful conversation about something that I'm passionate about, we could talk all day and all night. That's who I am at my core. So let me tell you something that came out of my most recent test here in February. So I'll step you through. So my D, I fell out. My natural state is I'm ranked at a 49. and my my D in my adaptive state was also a 49. And so this is where you see the red bar and the gray bar next to the red. And what these show is the color bar is who I am naturally. The gray bar is my adaptive state. So regardless of whether I am in my most comfortable place or when I am amongst company where I may not be the most comfortable, I show up the same way when it comes to being um, my level of dominance that I exert. Here's where it gets interesting. So when it comes to my I, the influencer in me, right? So my yellow is I'm a 60 naturally. And then my adaptive, I'm at a 25. And so when I saw this and I'm looking, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And so when I use the tools that I have, because I've been trained and I was able to dive a little deeper in for my own personal understanding of my own self, I'm like, this is weird because I'm an introvert. So why would my natural state be way higher than my adaptive state? And so there's something that came up. And at the level of 25, it's untrusting. That's a word that typically shows up when people, measure at about a 25 on the influencer scale. And so I said, wait a minute. I am naturally a bubbly, semi-outgoing person in and around people that I am the most comfortable with. I'm a good time, and I could crack a couple of jokes. I had a couple of zingers up my sleeve, in my own introverted, quirky way. I am. However, when I move into environments where I am not the most comfortable, I shrink. My inner influencer, that little extroverted person that I am when I'm comfortable, when I know, like, and trust you, she shrinks. And so when I had this new knowledge and insight because of what I now know behind this test, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so true. I never looked at it that way. I've always led with I'm an introvert. I can be ambivert-ish, meaning I could do both introvert and extrovert, but I am an introvert. So to see the bar and then say that, oh, I'm looking a little bit more extroverted than, naturally than I do when it's time for me to adapt, that's not the case. And this is how I adapt. I shrink, if you will, because either you can stretch when it's time for you to adapt, or you can shrink, or you can stay the same. So you see, for my D, I stay the same. For my I shrink. And it's because I don't trust. I don't know you. I don't like you, which is possible, or I don't trust you. And so I sit back. I'm very observant. I'm taking in all these data points, to see who do I know, like, and trust. Where's my tribe? Who are my people in this room? And then as I navigate to them and I find people that I care to engage with, then I'm locked and loaded. And I'm sure that's when my bar starts to go up and you get the most authentic version of me. So let's talk about authenticity. So one thing that is not always prominently touted when thinking about the DISC assessment, it is a measure on authenticity. How authentically are you showing up in the world? And there is a range that I will share, like if you take the test, and I'll let you in on it, on at what point are you teetering or way off the charts at, like, having some authenticity issues with who you really are on the inside, and when you're most comfortable, and who you become when other people come into your midst, and then that if authenticity is something that is a core value of yours or a staple of yours, then this is something that you will care about. And it'll be up to you to decide whether or not it's something that you want to work on moving forward, or not. And so this is just a sample of the type of insights that you can make behind the DISC assessment, and why I fell in love with it even after taking it the very first time. And I had teetered with it when I first learned about it. I heard all these stories about how it was changing relationships, how it was affecting, self-awareness, how it was allowing people to exhibit a little bit more grace when handling people who were different in personality style, different in personality preference, different in introversion or extroversion, just being able to lead with grace and understanding that it's not that I don't like them, maybe, but it's just that they're different. But now when I have these insights from the DISC assessment, I have a more well-rounded awareness of people. And if I look at all people as falling in these 4 personality styles in different ways, and uniquely falling within these 4 personality styles, I can then go out into the world, especially as a leader, as a CEO of my business, as a parent, as someone in a relationship, as a spouse, and I see, oh wow, that thing that they have, that little thing that like used to like set me off, they're slow to make decisions, they can't make a decision. Oh no, like they're a high C. Let me look at how we can use that to our advantage as a unit, as a team, as a business, as an organization, whatever. Let's see how we can leverage their desire and their need to be calculated in their analysis. How can we use that to our advantage? Like that's their superpower, and so I may be someone, just hypothetically speaking, that is a driver. Like I care about the beginning. I have the vision. I want to make it happen. I don't care how it happens. I want to make it happen. I'm going to have check-ins to make it happen. That's the driver in me. Who's going to provide that balance? Is it my air traffic controller that's going to see the forest for the trees? That's going to stop us from hitting the iceberg like the Titanic? I just read an article about the Titanic. So that was random, but it was top of mind for me. So who are the people that are going to help us stay on the straight and narrow? This is the beauty of this test. So yes, if you may be taking it for the first time, it may be because you have an innate desire to be a better version of you or to be the best version of you. And it's an ongoing, lifelong process. And I tip my hat to you if that's the type of person that you are and you're interested in leveraging the DISC assessment to do just that. It's also beneficial that when you get a handle on who you are and who you're not, what your superpower is and what your superpowers are not, then it will make you appreciate people who possess superpowers that are different than yours, than yours, and you will very likely interact with them differently. You will look for them on purpose sometimes because they will be people that can fill the gaps that you innately don't possess in order to make your world that much more robust, that much more powerful. And it opens up so much opportunity for extreme execution. So if you go to my page, you'll see that I'm an extreme execution certified coach. This is where the extreme execution comes in. It's a byproduct of self-awareness, knowing who I am, knowing who I'm not, knowing what my strengths are, knowing what my strengths are not, so that whatever my strengths are not, I can go and fill those gaps. And so I will leave you with that for now, but I definitely wanted to take a little mini dive into the DISC assessment and like why I chose to invest in becoming certified in it and why I think it's so beneficial for my clients and anyone that I may come in contact with just as a tool to make the world a greater place. Like there's not enough grace being extended in my opinion. So if you're interested in the self-assessment, check out DanielleTheCoach.com/assess. That's DanielleTheCoach.com/assess. And if you have any questions at all, send me a DM, a private message, an email, you name it, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And if you are sold on it already and you want to dive right in, again, go to DanielleTheCoach.com/assess. And it'll step you through how to go in, lock in, and purchase. And you'll be on your way. And there'll be a series of information that you'll be provided on how to proceed with taking the assessment and then getting your one-on-one consultation scheduled after that. Thank you so much for your time. And I didn't introduce myself before I went in. I just got straight into it. But if this is your first time in my space, I am Danielle Graves, also known as Danielle The Coach. I am a certified life and leadership coach, and I help millennials live and lead authentically, redefine success, and show up powerfully in any setting. I am the millennials coach. So thank you again for your time, and I will see you next time.